Welcome back to Wook Plus Live. I am the Great Wen, joined by John Herman, T, and Ghost Llama.
It's a packed house tonight.
It is. This is crazy. We should have dug up an old intro there.
Should have.
So I heard you took a drive, Llama, last weekend.
Last weekend, the other day.
So how was it? Where'd you go?
Yeah. Went to Boulder, went to Denver, saw some TAPER'S Choice. It was fun. It's nice. I think they're cooking.
Was that TAPER'S Choice? Was that playing over the countdown in the beginning? Was that TAPER'S Choice music?
No.
Or
that was Tim's band.
Yes.
Okay.
It
was
Tim's
cool.
band. And then the second part was Jason, I believe.
Yep.
I believe. So let's do a TAPER'S Choice dive here. You've seen them a couple times this year, right?
Yes, I've seen 4 of their 5 shows this year.
So are we, are there new songs? What's going on with it?
New covers?
There's new covers for sure. I don't think there's new songs because they had to learn a lot for that Relics 50th, right? So they probably didn't learn as many new songs. So. But they got new jams, man. Like they're taking old songs new places.
That they are. Well,
that's what you got to do. Keep it interesting there. Do they have new merch, T?
They did have new merch, and it sold really well. They had a new shirt for the tour.
Oh, well, they are merch masters.
Merch masters, I tell you. Yeah, it was fun. It was 2 good shows, one in Boulder, one in Denver.
What do you think the highlight was of the weekend, of those 2 shows anyways?
Like overall, or just like
overall.
a song? I think the overall highlight was the 3-song first set in Boulder and the Doors covers that they managed to pull off, not really being able to rehearse them. And of course, they did have Tom Hamilton open both nights for them too, and then he came out both nights and did a Doors song with them.
Which Doors song?
They did 5 to 1 the first
Ooh.
night,
Cool.
and then they did When the Music's Over the second night,
Nice.
which they jammed out.
Yeah.
That was a little weird to me. That one, I think in my head, that's a Doors song. 5 to 1, I can hear a band doing because it's a more basic blues riff. But the way When the Music's Over, such a constructed piece of music. That's cool that they chose that. I like it.
It was interesting though, because I mean, they had Zach was in London until the day before. He flew into LA. They rehearsed and then flew into Denver the day of the show. So they didn't really have a lot of rehearsal time, and definitely like no real rehearsal time with Tom to do the Doors song. So I was impressed. They were a little, they sounded good, but you could definitely tell it was like, which made it cool because it was like a spur of the moment kind of thing, which obviously they were going to do it anyway, but it was cool.
Whenever I think of 5 to 1, I think of like Val Kilmer, in the movie doing that. It's so like it's so like that scene where it's like he whips his dick out or something. I don't know. Like, it's definitely
the Miami rap.
Have you seen the movie recently? It's like it really kind of holds up and then doesn't, like, at the same time.
Nice. I have not seen it recently.
It's like
I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater, probably, and that was when I had to be 16 or 17. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I saw it in high school.
Yeah,
Going back, and we had I remember everyone was gathering. Like the movie theater was adjacent to the train station in my town, and everyone was in the parking lot getting crazy, smoking as much weed as possible before going into the theater.
Yeah,
that's great.
Would you say that's probably the best of the musical biography movies?
With the Doors?
Yeah.
It's
one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's a topic that's close to my heart, I guess.
Yeah, right.
No, it's definitely up there, formative for me. Probably one of the first real like R-rated gnarly music biopics that I ever saw, like in the theater, like when it came out. So it was like made just for me, like, and it probably just like when I just discovered like weed for the first time, and like that movie is really deliberately trippy, like all over the place. Like, it's so dated, like all this sort of native imagery and all this, gooey lights.
There was an accident on the desert.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Kyle MacLachlan is, and Ray Manzarek. I don't know. There's so many great cameos in it, like Billy Idol's in it.
Billy Idol, yep. The dinner,
and
the
like
Thanksgiving dinner.
It's
Billy Idol is. I just saw today that Billy Idol is releasing new music. I guess he's ramping up his campaign to get into the Rock and Roll Hall.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at it right now. He's at 86, and we're at 144.6.
So let's dive into the question of the pros and cons of shitposting PHiSH fans on your blog. We had two different people. One guy named Lee Val, who did an article on something called Audio Fix, and his thing was he questioned whether PHiSH should be in because of chart success. So that's one thing. He took it on the chin one day. The next day, this guy Terry Beezer went all in on PHiSH was all love and light. And as soon as people started to point out other songs to him, he became defensive, and I think he blocked a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah, but it was, first of all, he did it for a movie blog.
Screen Rant, yes, it was on Screen Rant.
And he was ranking which bands deserve to be in the hall the most. And like the only person lower than PHiSH to him was Mariah Carey. Like everybody else deserved to be in there like more than PHiSH. And his main thesis was that PHiSH is just so mellow. It's not really rock and roll. Like it's not confrontational, and like everyone's just like happy. Like, it was the like hackiest written shit I've ever seen in my life. His number one pick, by the way, was Oasis.
Right.
Because they're such a threat. Oh yeah, here just to back up. When he started defending himself, he was like, "Well, I grew up on thrash, man." So like, and like posted some link to some bizarre prog thrash record. And then he's like, "Oh, but my best pick is Oasis because like they're so nasty or whatever." But yeah, I got into it.
Nice.
It's on Blue Sky, fucking Blue Sky.
It was fun,
Yeah.
and he did not take it on the chin. And I guess the thing is, I think a lot of people look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame broader as something how many records you sold more than other things. And I don't know if that's fairly weighted,
Yeah. I mean, well, all these people, every time someone takes a shot at PHiSH saying that they don't deserve to be there, like immediately all their logic falls apart because like nothing they say, it's always so badly researched. They're like, "Oh, well, they only do this." And it's like, why don't you listen to it? And this guy even said the Bees. He's like, I dug down into every crevice of the PHiSH catalog, and I heard everything they can do, and none of it was real rock and roll.
He
and
missed
he's
the
just being an asshole. Yeah, and the guy's a hack, and he took it to a low. He tried to take it to a low place with me, and it was just hilarious. But
so that's two people in a few days that are bagging on PHiSH.
Right. But I tell you, the pros of it are that all of a sudden, all these people who've never heard of this guy are clicking on his stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty brilliant. Hey, I know these people are going to get their feathers ruffled, so to speak.
Hate me.
Yeah.
Oh man, he said it was rarely ever confrontational, and that's something I took offense to because in the middle of Split Open and Melt or Carini or big black furry creatures from Mars. That's confrontational music.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dude, you try and come down to the rail or inside the first 5 rows during a show and tell me it's not confrontational. All right, it's fucking
seriously.
It's just as bad down there as any mosh pit or any fucking real rock show. So fuck off with that confrontational shit.
Have you ever had to be pulled out of a crowd?
You mean because of what?
Being on the rail and you getting crushed?
Oh, no. I've gotten very close to being claustrophobic, but I've always, if you're on the rail, it's usually easy to get out because you have the thing of the platform to go either side. It's the 2, 3, 4 rows behind the rail where you're crammed in and there's nowhere to go that kind of like claustrophobic me and freak me out. So yeah, but
remember back in the day, just like the 90s, when PHiSH played the in Portland, Maine, the Cumberland County Arena, like the second time I went. The first time we had really totally on the rail and it was cool, but the second time it was like there was no rules. It was just like you would just get totally crushed up there against it, and that was the first time that I actually, left my front row center perch in front of Trey for the second set because it just sucked. We never had these new rules where everybody can like basically have a hula hoop at all times or more, like a fucking 6-foot hula hoop.
Oh, so I went and saw HF Festival, which was a radio station around here, WHFS. They did a festival every year, and it was at RFK toward the end of it because it got so big, and Eminem played. And I got roped into going. I mean, I wanted to, it wasn't that hard to twist one. But the woman I was with is like, we need to go down to the front for Eminem. So we get down to the rail for Eminem. 5 minutes later, they're yanking me out of the crowd and yanking her out of the crowd. And they send us backstage. So I see beer in this room. So I pop off into this room, grab a beer.
Hey, as long as you're back there.
That's right. You guys got to go.
They're like, come this way. They're like, sweet.
God bless them. So, yeah, that's interesting. We'll see how PHiSH plays out. I don't think they're going to get in myself because I don't think the people who beyond our one vote. I don't know how many votes they have.
Yeah, I didn't know. I read an article that said that Dave Matthews and the Dead, it all took them like they didn't get on their first shot. Like it took the Dead like many nominations to get in. So
right. And
if that's the track record, I mean, I feel like it'll still be a really good story because I feel like we're going to end up getting more fan votes in than like any act has ever gotten,
right, ever in the history of fan votes.
Yeah, so that could become a cool story and some bragging rights, but ultimately they're probably going to not let them in, and then the whole PHiSH community is going to like freak it out.
Oh, dude, they'll freak out.
It's so ugly.
Well,
it'll be great.
And check this out. Since they don't get in this year, next year they don't even get nominated. Like Iron Maiden was nominated last year. They didn't get nominated again this year. Then PHiSH fans are really going to freak out that they are nominated the second year.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll go with that. Did you guys see anything about the Celebrating Surgy up at NECTAR'S? They called it Celebrating Surgy and Analog Outpouring.
No, I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, the NECTAR'S longtime sound engineer passed away. We talked about that, and we got a Pork Tornado reunion with Ray from Tab Band and Rob Compa, formerly of Dopapod, now of Neighbor, Johnny Too Bad, and a couple other tunes, even a Pork Tornado tune, Move With You. So that's fantastic. But the same night, even better, Jazz Mandolin Project, one of Fishman's other old projects, got back together and did a few of the old Jazz Mandolin Project standards, Milestones, Oh Yeah. And then it finally ended with a super jam with a bunch of these people, Grippo, Fishman, Seth Yakovum, I believe is how you say his last name. There was a bunch of Zappa tunes. So pretty fantastic. I'm hoping that something like that shows up. What did we do with John? Oh, there he is. Sorry.
Had changed sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh, he had to change sunglasses. So I don't know if I don't think they broadcast, but you would have hoped that they would show something like that.
You'd think, but
I have this friend that I met down in Mexico, and he like worked at NECTAR'S like for a long time.
Oh, nice.
My friend PJ.
Have you heard, John? I've been hearing mumbling that they might not do Mexico next year. They might pick another country, another destination.
Yeah,
have you heard anything like that?
Well, yeah. Most people down there were saying that this was like the last year at the Moon Palace, for sure, and that But we've been hearing about this for a while because they're opening up that same company, the Palace, whatever, is opening up a new place in the Dominican Republic, which they're going to shift all of their live music activities to. And it's like, I don't know, maybe brand new place and built more for that. And yeah, I think it's good because I don't really want to go back to the Moon Palace again. That place is just like, I'm not going to... I could spend a long time talking about it on my grievances, but it's obviously an awesome time, but like it really does need to move. But I've never been to the public, so like,
are you a fan of all inclusive?
Me? Well, I mean, it's honestly the only time I've ever really done it. You know, I've never really gone on a cruise or done an all inclusive resort vacation at all. Like, only time it's just been with PHiSH. And I'm definitely a fan of it there. I don't think I would do it normally. That would like drive me insane. But it's good for the PHiSH experience. But one thing people are concerned about is like Mexico is. I mean, I love Mexico. I go like pretty often. You know, at least once or twice a year. It's so close by. But like. The relationship between you and Mexico and like how you handle things or like things like, you know, drugs or like if you get in trouble, like there's sort of a system in place and you're kind of like never really fucked as long as you have a couple $100 bills on you. But like I think the Dominican Republic is a very different kind of vibe. And so everyone felt pretty safe and comfortable really partying in in the Yucatan Peninsula. But I don't know. I've heard that the TR is way more hardcore and like, you know, permissive. And so who knows? You know.
All right, Llama, what did you make when you went of the all-inclusive? Did you dig that?
It was all right. I mean, I don't know if I'd, you know, make it a thing. Like it worked for what I was doing, right? But I don't think I'd take like a regular vacation all inclusive, I guess.
Right. I would feel like I needed to drink a certain amount to make it worth it. And then I'd spend my time thinking I needed to drink more, which I probably didn't need to do.
You could also eat it, Kev.
Right. I was gonna eat, drink more.
Yeah, the closest thing I ever did was a cruise once with the Radiators, and it was, you know, you've
never done have you ever wanted to go on the Jam cruise? I mean, I've always, you know, thought that sounded super fun. I don't know. I'm sort of claustrophobic. I don't think I could be on like a boat, and like the rooms on like cruises are pretty small. I don't think I could do that for like it freaks me out. Yeah. But it sounds like it's super fun. You're just like wandering around. All these fucking amazing musicians are just fucking all over the place all the time. Like
it's also like, I don't know, drugs and stuff on a boat. Like you're kind of trapped in that whole feeling, you know, like at least somewhere I can run away or like, you know, I feel like I can be free on land. Like on a boat, you're like, oh shit.
You could jump overboard. And just
right. I mean, there's that and go be free, but yeah.
And also like if cruise, I don't know. I feel like on cruises, I'm always hearing about like everybody gets like massive, like, you know, diarrhea or like
sickness just travels through everybody, and
like just got to drink beer.
Sadness will happen, you know. You seen that movie?
Beer and great liquor, no ice. That's why tequila and beer. You'll make it through. Did you guys see Fyre Fest too? They announced
Fyre Fest.
Yeah, Fyre Fest. Yeah, that's what it was.
That kid, That's hilarious. I haven't seen this. I can't believe that he's actually wasn't he in prison? I mean, like, how is he allowed to start business?
I know. How are they even allowed to call it that or do any of that again?
How is he allowed to register like a business with the government and collect monies if he's a fucking felon? Like, is that like how it works? Like, what? That makes no sense to me. I don't know.
None of it makes no sense. And like, if you're going, like, it's one of those things. Like, really, you would be dumb enough to trust it again and go do it. I don't know. That's just.
I know who would. I mean, I feel like there's something else going on. Like, he's not really doing. He like wants a reality show. He's trying to. Like, he wants people like someone at Netflix be like, oh, can we cover this and like make a show about it? It'd be great.
Right.
It's a PR move. There's no way he's putting on a fucking festival again. No way.
Nobody announced yet, and the cheapest ticket is $1,400.
But honestly, that's kind of cheap for like a tropical fucking all-inclusive vacation.
No, I was gonna say, right? It's all inclusive, right? Again, yeah, and like grilled cheese sandwiches or whatever.
Styrofoam box with like a.
I don't think that includes.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's just a walk in the door. That doesn't include lodging or anything.
No. I think that the ticket is if you're going to a fucking island.
Yeah.
He claims it's at like Isla Mujeres, which is sort of off the coast of where, like, you know, Riviera
Jurassic Park, where Jurassic Park is.
Yeah, or whatever. It's a real place, and so it has to be all inclusive. And so there's like $1 million package where you like can supposedly like hang out with the band anytime you want, or
on a yacht,
but they don't even have any yacht booked. Like, so.
Well, yeah, you can rent a yacht. You can buy a package with a yacht for $1.1 million.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I want to look beyond like the spectacle of it. I was like, what is he trying to accomplish? He's definitely trying to accomplish something, you know, in his life, some kind of, but it's definitely not putting on a festival. He just wants to make some kind of deal. He wants to like someone to like, you know, a documentary crew to follow him. He wants to, it's all like a maneuver because there's no way in hell any insurance company, any
who would cover that? Yeah,
would be a part of this. Or any
what artists would do it as well?
And where's the money coming from? Like, who's like? So it's all nonsense. But there is. I'm most curious about what he's really hoping is going to happen. You know, is it like a Trump thing where he's just trying to like keep afloat and so he doesn't like have to go back to jail? Or I mean, I don't know.
It's insane.
But that guy is still a criminal. Like once a criminal. All the way, like that guy is completely dirty. I guarantee you. Let's make this prediction now. The next time I'm on, you know, Wook Plus, that guy goes back to prison.
He's back in
prison. Park. Yeah.
We could have you on for his return to jail episode.
Yes, that'd be perfect.
He's back. What do you make of PHiSH playing that Bourbon and Beyond, John?
Oh, you mean that thing in Kentucky? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds cool, good to me. I have some friends in that city, and yeah. I mean, how is that different from them playing like Bonnaroo or anything? Is it controversial they're playing that festival?
No, I'm just asking what your thoughts on festival sets versus shows are.
Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it myself unless it was nearby because I'm just I was so bougie now and such a custy or whatever that like I can't. I mean, I went to Mondegreen, and the only reason I could do that was because they offered like, you know, fucking put me in a little like motel outside the grounds and like truck my fat ass in on a nice bus and then take me home at night. Like that, I can handle that. I cannot handle any fucking camping, you know. And that's like, I mean. You know, God bless. I know camping is fun, but like I cannot do that shit, you know. And so if PHiSH offers me bougie options, I'm gonna totally jump on it because it's nice, you know. And Dick's too. Like I did the Dick's one last summer, and like I had never been there before, but now like they had a hotel package, nice place to hang out. They pick you up on a bus, you go, they take you home, and it's great. You know, you don't have to like camp amongst the fucking groundhogs or whatever.
I was reading somebody was talking about the last time they went to Dick's, they got a bed and breakfast like 3 miles away and bought a bike for $50 on Craigslist and just rode the bike back and forth. And if it got stolen, it got stolen. And at the end, you just left the bike, you know?
Yeah. That's very Burning Man-esque.
Yes, I couldn't ride a bike that far. I can barely walk from one end of Dick's to the other without getting winded. So,
yeah, same. I have a question though. Would you like? What is your theory? Why are they playing somewhere like in Boulder, like instead of Dick's? Like, is it like is that the switch forever, or like going back to Dick's, or like? Is Dick's done forever? Like what's the consensus?
I don't think it's done forever. I think it's a year thing. I know there's some things like renovations happening at Dick's.
Construction, yeah, I heard.
Construction happening at Dick's. And the Folsom thing just worked out because they had kind of booked the Dead 60 shows there for that weekend that didn't end up happening, so it was an open slot. Right. So they just were kind of a natural fit for it. I think either of them or Dave, but I don't know what Dave was already planning. But so I don't know. They just took it. But I think a return to Dick's will happen. I don't think it's done for good. I think it's just one of those. I mean, this whole year, like Kev said, the venues are so different, and we talked about it before. The tour is so odd and awkward and weird that it just feels like one of those off years. You know, like we said, like no Dick's, no Sphere, no Mondegreen or festival, other than that bourbon and whatever festival, not like a true thing. So it's an off year.
That makes sense. I mean, like last year, I did like the major, you know.
There was a lot.
I did like Sphere, I did Mondegreen, you know, I did Dick's, like.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got a good deal too, though. They said, hey, we'll do Folsom, right, for you. And like we said earlier before the show started, we were talking about none of the venues are Live Nation venues. So they're like, all right, we'll set you up with a whole tour. They had to use all the non-Live Nation venues because it wasn't part of that.
Folsom, you know, they're black and...
I feel like back in the day, in the summer, they played as many outdoor venues as possible. It was like all outdoor venues. That's the whole point. You wanted to be fucking outside.
Outside in the summer.
Ed was doing it like they didn't want to play indoor arenas or stadiums in the summer. It's kind of depressing.
The weather's crazy these days. The weather just gets worse and worse.
That's true.
So playing inside, you're guaranteeing.
Kev, we talked about the size of Folsom too, and it sounds like they're like blocking off a lot of the sections, so it's only going to be like 40,000 anyway. Like instead of
how many people can fit in there? Like
I think we said it was like 60 or something. Kevin, we looked it up or something, didn't we?
Maybe even.
Yeah. So I think it's going to end up being like around 35 or 40.
It's true because I want to go to those Austin shows. I think I still will, and it's going to be hot as fuck in that city. So maybe like indoors and like will be dope. So honestly, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's cool because like you know, people in Texas deserve some PHiSH shows. I know a lot of people you know down there and in the South, and like they often get sort of shit on or whatever. But
I went to the Palace.
Like, be air conditioned and people don't like pass out in the sun, so that's cool.
Right. I mean, there's an advantage to playing, but then that's why sometimes you play those other places in cooler weather, and then you can play them indoors as opposed to like summer tour where you would hope it's more outdoorsy. But
maybe
whatever.
maybe the key is to like move like Sturgill's playing in May, I think, at Merriweather. Maybe your outdoor shows are early summer tour shows or really late. Even fall shows.
Fall shows. Yeah. I
remember a couple summers ago when PHiSH played MSG for 7 nights, like right in the middle of the summer. That was still honestly probably some of the best fucking PHiSH I saw in my whole life. Like it was great, you know. So I guess I'm not opposed to indoor in the summer. It's just very different from
outdoor summer
or whatever. Sure. That was definitely would never happen then.
For sure. And Llama, as we know, the best thing about the Boulder shows will be Night 0 Taper's Choice in Boulder to start the weekend.
And Bowl and the Hollywood Bowl.
And the Hollywood Bowl in April, which is even sooner. We get Night Zero
I
at
am
Troubadour.
So stoked for that. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I don't know. Like, there's just too much. It's like
fun.
Because I'm doing the fucking Seattle and Portland, and then Taper's Choice, and then 3 PHiSH shows. That's why San Francisco will have to suck it this year. Like, can't do it. Like, those are rest days.
Yeah.
And honestly, San Francisco is such I mean, I love it, but it is also such a drag sometimes.
What is your plan with Seattle? Are you driving down to Portland, or are you hopping a plane?
I think I might take a train. Actually, there's a train that goes, and I'm all about train. Like, I want to go on as few planes as possible because I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but it's like really fucking
not great.
And like, what? Seriously, I can't. I'm actually like altering summer plans, like to not take as many flights because like our president like has made it unsafe to fly because he fired all these flights. Like, it's the world we're living in. It's so fucking weird. Planning a summer tour and like not really wanting to fly in real airports like Chicago, like, you know, not even just like bumfuck places, but like the places where we're gonna be going, and like really like you might just like crash into another plane. It can happen.
It can happen.
Like, that's the world we're living in. Everyone's like, yay.
I worry about a lot of the people I know who fly for a living. You know, part of their job is going places and doing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you guys listen to EGGY at all?
I actually, you know, I'm gonna bow out. I don't know much about EGGY, but I've heard good things. But
they just did a great California run, and what do we know? We know about Grateful Guitars, don't we, T?
We do. That was you know, what was his name? I have his card over here somewhere. Who he likes to let guitar players use Jerry's alligator guitar that he had. Andy Logan is his name, and he bought it at an auction and likes to let musicians play it because that's what a guitar is made for, not to hang on a wall, but to be played. So it's really cool. He lets these guys play it. Like Dave played it a year ago up at the Ivy Room at not the most recent Taper's Choice show, but the one before that at the Ivy Room. He played it during, and then EGGY got to play it this weekend.
Yep, Los Lobos. Yeah. David Hidalgo has played it. Susan Tedeschi has played it. But Alligator made an appearance on the 20th and the 21st. And on the 20th, they actually had Graham Lesh come out. And he played Cats Under the Stars in the first set. Then the second set was all the Alligator. And they did a fantastic Midnight Moonlight, bunch of their own tunes. Then it showed up again the next night, and he played it from most of the second set. And they did Let It Rock. Yeah.
I noticed that when Dave played it with Taper's Choice, like it changed their sound a lot. Yeah. So how did it affect EGGY's sound?
You could tell it has the Strat thing, you know. That Strat sound is very distinctive.
Very different.
Is there a connection between EGGY and Taper's Choice?
What?
Is there a connection between those two bands as far as personnel or relationships or anything?
One of the guys from EGGY was on the Relics 25th.
Okay. Oh, right. Jake.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, Jake, I think.
Jake was there.
Jake's the guitar player.
But no like inside connection with him or anything.
The thing I really like about EGGY is their strong vocals. They've put in time working on the vocals, and you know a lot of jam bands, that's where they fall flat, is when they try to sing a song. So, but then the next night after that, no Jerry Garcia guitar, and then all of a sudden, down in Solana Beach, is it Solana Beach?
No.
Solana Beach. The Bean showed up, which I am a huge fan of the Bean. Might be my favorite Jerry guitar. It's Cornell 77 is the Bean, and also Phil's GNL 2000. The bass showed up, and Mike, their bass player, played it and got a Ramble on Rose, got a Ruben and Cerise. But apparently it's the first.
Oh my god, I love the way you just said Ramble on Rose. Where it got Kevin, you have like that voice just kills me. I just love it. It's like half the reason that we're like friends. I have like other I have Baltimore friends. I tell them about you, like ramble out views. I live for it. I live for these your Baltimoreisms. It's just
Baltimoreisms.
I love it.
So apparently it's the first time that these two instruments had ever been played together. When Phil played that bass, Jerry wasn't playing that guitar, and Jerry only played that guitar from like 76 to late 77. So
that's fun.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that this company does that. We really need to try to get somebody from there on just to talk about it, because that's such a generous thing to do, to have the money to be able to buy these. I mean, you don't hear about Jim Irsay lending out a guitar, and he has what, Tiger maybe or something like that.
It's crazy. Like it's so
Tiger.
It's so cool that he does that, and like that's his whole philosophy, and like even like them, making the guitars and stuff. It's such a cool. Yeah, we'll try and get him on again. We tried one time and I couldn't get a hold of him, but he's a really cool guy. Like super friendly, super nice, and like just totally believes in sharing the love, like the wealth of the guitar. And it's like these guitars still have life in them, so we might as well use them. And it's very cool to see other musicians getting to play it too. It must be a thrill.
Right. Everybody who's handed one, though, I feel like they're inspired. Like there's just a life force or something still running through it. Because
give one to Billy Strings, or is he like, he deserves to like have one of those motherfuckers. I mean, seriously.
Totally. I mean, it is special. Like, it is a cool feeling. I got to strap it on at the TAPER'S show and like feel it and like take pictures and strum it and stuff. And you're just like, this is insane. Like, I can't believe like I'm touching this right now and like holding it. So actually being able to play music with it and like fuck around with it, it has to be such a thrill. Like, that would be insane. That'd be so fun. So
yeah, I got to like hang out like up next to many years ago. I was working on this Grateful Dead project. And I got to hang out with Dead Company and like the Leslie amp. Like I could go backstage and like hang out with the actual real Leslie from like, this is probably like Brent Midland's Leslie.
Oh, wow.
They're still using now. It was so fucking cool.
It's crazy.
Just so cool. Chill next to the gear.
Right.
Comente uses it, right?
What's that?
Comente uses it, doesn't he? With Dead and Company?
Yeah. He told, exactly. Yeah. That's why I was there. He uses it, and it's like the same. It's the same one. I don't even know if it goes further back than Brand.
It might be Pigpen. Thank you, Dave. It's I think
it might be. It's a very. You can just like get vibe. You walk near it, it's like the car in Repo Man just sort of like gives off like because it's so fucking magical. Like the greatest Leslie of all time.
I was talking to Ray from Trey's band earlier, and he was saying how every one of those organs sounds different. And I was like, that's fascinating. I mean, I have to take his word for it. I always laugh when somebody has one of them, like in the band. I'm like, who do they convince to like carry that up the 5 steps to the stage?
Yeah.
It's like the heaviest instrument in the universe. Oh my! So we have some other stuff.
What about the beam? How much does the beam weigh?
Yeah, right.
Like that thing's got to weigh like several. Need like a crew of at least 3 to haul that.
Grab it.
Truck.
That's why they want to play all those Sphere shows. They don't have to move it but once.
It just sits there. Exactly.
Seriously, just leave it there.
That's good. So what do you make of the Dead and Company coming back again already? But PHiSH, not a peep about it, except Trey making some kind of offhand comments about why would you want to play there for weeks on end?
Wait, what happened? I missed that. Trey, did Trey threw some shade?
Yeah, Trey threw some shade about it in GQ, saying, basically,
really?
The Sphere was cool and all, but I want to be out on the road and go to different places. I don't want to be And then he made some comment about if you want to make the money, it's a good way to make the money or something to that effect.
Really? When did that come out? I have to fucking read that because I had no idea that he was talking shit. I love that. Is that recent? Yeah,
probably
well, yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago?
It's true. Well, I mean, like the Dead, I mean, whatever. I mean, I love them all, but they did say that it was the last time, and now they're just basically sitting in the Sphere and just playing indefinitely. And when FISH the Sphere was so different that, like, I mean, they literally did like just like a FISH show. Like, nothing was repeated. It was like a completely like, you know, curated experience for each night. Totally different, those 4 nights. And the Dead is doing nothing like that. And I think that's why, like, Trey doesn't want to. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't go back because, like, I mean, I went to those shows. I mean, they were cool, but, like, that's a whole other subject. But I feel like they definitely don't want to go there unless they can put their whole effort into it. That's so much effort, you know. And I don't think Trey wants to do the sort of repeating visuals like the same thing every time, which the Dead does.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why they didn't go back this year was you couldn't get what they wanted to get done in a year, and it's more planning than just that. Like, it takes more time to do it and to do what they want to do. So, and especially if they're doing a longer run.
I'm ready to note myself to find this GQ article because I've always wanted to hear like Trey.
It's from February 13th.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't it be great if like Trey's like nice era was over and he actually started really just said a few honest things, you know, like because I love it, but hopefully one day we'll meet him.
It would be great because then he would just be mimicking more of the community.
He's earned it. He's been a fucking rock star for 40 years. He could talk. Ozzy didn't give a shit, you know. Like Trey is so polite. He's so nice, but he should really. We need someone like him to like speak some truth and maybe save some parts of the music industry and call out some truths. I mean, like, how much longer does he have anyway? Like, you know, he has opinions. He's a really smart guy, obviously. Like, he should really just be spilling the fucking tea. You know what I mean?
Yes, he should. I'm with you. I want more Trey like that. He needs to get on social media and
because
start ripping it.
The Sphere is weird, man. The Sphere, it could be used for evil purposes. You know, I don't have 100% like A+ experience with the Sphere. Like, I thought that place those shows were cool as hell and like blew my mind, and you know, but there's something kind of like icky about that place, and it's a little bit scary.
It could be all the cameras.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It's too immersive. And now that like the Backstreet Boys are going like residency there, like what are those shows going to be like? Like what the fuck? Like to go from U2 to like, you know, FISH and the Dead, and now like, you know, like Backstreet Boys, and you're like, what the fuck? It's like it's starting to like.
And what's his name? Country guy. And they got Kenny Chesney. Yeah. Playing
Kenny Chesney, yes,
country too. So
huge. I'm waiting for Beyonce to drop dates.
I mean, I will say the experience between like FISH and seeing it just regularly, and then going for Dead & Co and doing the whole VIP thing. It's a totally different trip, and like your bougie thing, like getting to do it bougie is fucking awesome. Like I do that
one of my best friends, like,
every day of the week.
Yeah, one of my best friends, like, you know, he sort of is pretty in with some of the management of the band, and he's experienced full, like, you know, VIP Dead at the Sphere. And he said, yeah, it's great. Like, and it totally
night and day, because that line to get in with the FISH line, and even Dead & Co, the line to get in when we were there was insane. And getting to skip that in its own thing was just yes.
The first night of the Sphere, like
that was insane.
I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, like, if you were in that tunnel, that corridor line, it was insane because you had to go down and back and down. It was insane. Like
death, and like then some people started like smoking in there.
Yeah.
Like I got there really early. Like I literally like busted through. It was crazy. People were like the most mayhem I've ever seen at a show since like 1.0 when like gate crashers would happen all the time, and all the wicks would come like raid like the New Haven like whatever the Palace Theater like bam, oh my god, the wicks are coming. They like overrun the guards, and the whole like
it was crazy.
Dreadlocked white dudes would like rush into the show, and everybody like ah, like it was kind of like that, like.
For a $1 billion venue to be that unorganized opening, like, and after having already gone through U2 to be that unorganized for like what happened.
It was the one time, but like, I felt the energy in that like entrance, like shit is about to fucking like.
U2, but with U2, the people probably showed up like when it said door time. Whereas with PHiSH and Dead and Company, everyone shows up 5 minutes before the band's supposed to hit the stage.
But it was crazy. But the next 3 nights, like it didn't happen at all. Like all they had to do was not like the first night. They closed it off for too long,
and the next nights they opened it up earlier too because they realized they had fucked up. They're like, oh yeah, we're opening it a half hour earlier tonight.
Man, I keep thinking about like stuff from the past that I would like to see at the Sphere, and in '79 when Floyd released The Wall, the Sphere would have been the place to really make that show happen.
I want to see Radiohead play there, or
that'd be good.
You know, Tool, or you know, Tame Impala.
Survive Tool. I don't know if people would survive Tool at the Sphere.
I don't think they would either. That's why I feel like the place is dangerous. It's like too much. You don't need that much stimuli. Like it's like it's actually cool to see a band in just a really like a room with really good sound and like Chris Kuroda's lights. Like that's what I was like hungry for after the Sphere. Like it was cool and all, but like it did not feel like a PHiSH show. It was a cool little alt PHiSH experience to have. But if you're not like in like the middle of the Kuroda maelstrom and like the real sound, it's not really a PHiSH show. It's some other kind of weird experience. They did it 4 times and that's it. And maybe they'll do it again. But I feel like I don't think it's anything that's super. People are paying way too much money to go to those shows. And it was like obscene. Like it was obscene that weekend. Like how much it became this capitalist gross nightmare. Like people are. Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
No, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw like it was like by the time like the second night, like people were. I even know people who weren't even planning to go were like, "Oh my god, I have to go," and they'd like be flying into Vegas, and people were paying. No one got in like night 3 and 4 like secondary sites for less than like $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 for like. One show.
It's crazy how much.
And lots of people like dead ass did it. Like people were, and there was never any comment from the band about that or anything. It was like, and it was bizarre. I still sort of like the ripples of it. I still feel is because it was. Obscene.
It was pretty crazy watching the secondary market, especially nights 3 and 4. How few, how the tickets
literally
went up.
The worst seat in the house was like $2,000.
Yeah. Oh,
That's crazy. That probably never happened again, I would assume. But maybe
no, it was crazy. I know. And in fact, the section we sat in that first night like tripled by the night 3. And I was like, oh, I guess we're not going again. Like, never mind.
I lucked out because I had tickets to all 4 nights, and like I sort of set it up all before, and like a couple of them maybe I spent too much, but a couple of them got the traditional way. But I mean, by the 4th night, I actually I couldn't deal with it anymore. It was just like the stress of getting into that room and the stress of kind of being in that room was just too much. And like I actually like hung out in my friend's, like he had this pretty epic suite, the Mirage across the street, and like I watched the simulcast on like a big TV in this awesome suite, and which was great because I couldn't handle it. Like it was like someone else was to go more than me. I've had enough. I've had enough here.
I'm done. I'm out.
The first time I've ever chosen not to go to a PHiSH show, and it was that like 4th night, and I have like no regrets about that at all. You know,
Yeah.
It's like I thought if I went back there that fourth night, like I would die or something. Like it was too. It's like Drew Carey said, like it really scrambled your whole fucking brain, and I didn't recover from that shit for like weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
Tense.
I hear you.
I'm not trying to do much of summer tour. Maybe go to Pittsburgh because I find it much nicer to sit on the couch now at home.
Yeah, it is nice.
It is nice, especially
Yeah,
in
but
the
it's not the same.
Expensive. You know,
it's
not
not
the same. Right.
Like this last Mexico that I just did, you know, like couple weeks ago. It was great. This time I've stayed in all sorts of different kinds of rooms down there, and this time I was like, "Fuck it," because I knew it was the last year at the Moon Palace, and I got like a room that like overlooked the stage, basically. But not like one of the crazy presidential ones. That they actually this year started selling like regular rooms that happened to be in the building that was like facing the stage. So I got one of those, and it was just so chill, like the experience of, you know, seeing PHiSH from your own balcony, and your like bed is right there, and your bathroom.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's like the dream. You know? Like I can't. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a privilege, or like, you know, whatever, to be able to do that. But if you could save your ducats to do that, like it's pretty great. You know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the way to do it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, because I am like older, like when you're 22,
yeah,
you can really put up a lot more. You have so much, you know, elasticity in your body, and you don't require much sleep and like or comforts, and you can like basically sleep on a floor or on a couch anywhere. And like, I mean,
totally.
like when you get to my age, like I really just like it's just gotta be like very
comfortable.
But it's cool because the PHiSH is old too. When I was young, they were young. Now they're old. I'm old. So we're all just doing like this
old
spa PHiSH experience, and it's fucking great.
Nice. That's cool though. I always wondered about those rooms, or at least like being able to watch it from like your balcony, and like just.
We have another friend of mine ended up with one of those like right on the beach like rooms, and it was great. Like just be able to, but the vibe down there is very inclusive. Like, you know, you could go into any of those places if you wanted to. Like it's very easy to meet people who have rooms there and like have that experience. There's not like a lot of gatekeeping really. It's very
That's cool too.
Oh wait.
What else we got on our set list, Kev?
I closed it out. Bob Weir sat in with Nathaniel Ratecliffe and did a Bob Dylan Christian gospel tune, Slow Train, which I found completely fascinating. And I'm a big fan of the Nathaniel Ratecliffe. I did not know much about him before. What did he play? That Dave Matthews thing last year for the people in North Carolina and all. And,
I'm a big fan of the dog.
Is that what it? Oh, the dog. Oh,
the dog. Look at him.
I think that we need more of that 70s soul singer kind of stuff. I think the world needs more of that.
Yeah.
This one guy, there's some guy in the comments who keeps saying that he really misses Weekend Whoop, and like, where is he? I'm curious too. Like, what's up with that dude?
Tim's around.
I can't tell if he's sort of like throwing shade, like it's lame without him, or he's just sort of he like genuinely does miss him. But I do too. You know, I'm wondering where he's at. You know,
he's good.
He'll be back sometime.
He's around.
Probably. He might not. I don't know.
This is Marlene, by the way.
Okay.
Oh.
Hi.
Hello.
He's only like 7 pounds.
Oh wow.
7 pounds. Oh my gosh.
And there we are. All right. Let's do this because I know a lot of people last week were a little disappointed that we did not have a real Neil Young minute.
That's right.
So this week something huge happened though. Yesterday, maybe it was the day before, he announced a world tour, Europe, America, with the Chrome Hearts, which is I think like 3/5 of Lucas Nelson in the reel, plus a guy named Stephen Oldham on the keyboards. So
he's playing the Hollywood Bowl. I hope tickets are like $1,100. You know, they probably will be. You know,
right?
It's so fucking stupid out here.
Totally.
Joni Mitchell, you know, it was like when Joni Mitchell played, I was like, I got to go see that, and it was really cool. But like, god damn, people are paying like such outrageous prices for bowl tickets.
Right, so apparently they're going to be releasing new music, so maybe this will be interesting. If you remember last year, the Crazy Horse thing crashed because I guess somebody was having health issues with it, and we probably never will see Crazy Horse again. It's probably going to be more something like this.
Maybe Crazy Glue.
Now there's a possibility.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, I know, like the last time I went to see Tom Petty at the Bowl, and it was like a few years ago, and it's actually one of the first times I think since like I was maybe in college. I saw him one time like at a festival or whatever, but like seeing Tom Petty at the Bowl and like in a box, and it was so awesome, and he was literally like the last show he ever played. Like he died a week later. It was like the last show of the tour he did at Hollywood Bowl, and then he died. And it was weird. Like, 'cause I was totally still like high off of that show.
Sad that we lost him. Yeah. Very sad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And there we are. On that note,
on that note of deep grief and watching our democracy slip away.
John, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, make sure if you're watching this later, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you miss Walk, leave him a message down in the comments. Say, where are you? Weekend Walk.
We miss you, Walk.
Next week, everything, all the stars align. We're going to have Cam Hurt, the comedian, on with us talking about stand-up, I guess, great. A little bit.
I met him down in Mexico, and I was like, thank you, bro. Like, everything sucks. It's so nice to have someone who just makes people want to just laugh and like smile and joke. Like, it's so great. I love that we have a fucking resident comedian type guy, and he's actually like really fucking funny. Like that guy is awesome.
Just get his take, and he actually did something with Eggy. I guess you'd call it a sit-in. He came up and told a story while they were playing some weird spacey stuff. So we'll get into what exactly that was about too. And make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us if you become a member. We have members-only stuff dropping all the time.
That's right. There's all kinds of stuff. Go watch some Taper's Choice.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. It's always a blast. I love you guys. I hope to see you at the Bowl or this summer sometime. And
definitely. I'll see you at the Troubadour. I'll see you at the Troubadour for the Taper's Choice show and at the Bowl. And maybe Seattle.
Yes.
Always nice having good guests on. Hour goes so fast.
Hours go fast.
Just fly by.
Maybe Night Zero will get streamed.
Maybe.
Sometimes, maybe.
Scooty.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Oh, it's going to show us. I forgot to stop.
I forgot to hit the button. Here we go.